into item number 4, which is, this is for discussion and possible action, consideration to award contract and notice to proceed with the Bunkerville Well 2 retrofit project to the contractor who submits the best bid. The best bid would be, well, the best bid is always the lowest bid. The best bid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I will be abstaining from this item due to the fact that my family has interest in the old tank and the booster station, and anything that may or may not affect that, I probably ought to abstain from.
Right, okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for coming forward on that. All right. I wonder if we would like to have Aaron maybe talk about this just a little bit, what our plans are there.
Sure, you want to?
That'd be fine, and Aaron is here, and we also had Bowen Collins and Associates help us on the review of these bids. I'd just like to add one thing before Aaron gets into it, and he is the better person probably to discuss.
Yeah, I think that's true, because this one specifically talks to what services we'll be getting from Bowen Collins on this.
And but there is also in your hands from Wes a summary of the purchase orders requiring board approval. As you might want to at least scan through that, but wait until maybe we get through all the items that are affected, because it kind of play off each other a little bit.
Yeah, this was just handed out before the meeting, wasn't it?
Exactly, because we didn't know
This is the low bidders.
that's it. We didn't know, yeah, that
Yeah,
includes.
we didn't have those numbers until today when the bid was open.
Right.
So, anyway, without discussing the numbers too much except for our recommendations, maybe we'll discuss that afterwards if you're okay and catch all 5 topics.
Okay.
Go for it, Aaron.
Would you suggest we have Mike give some information on now, or wait till we?
I think each one, I think we can discuss each item on its merits, and then talk about the budget consequences at the end, if it's okay.
Okay.
But you can see the approximate consequences in that spreadsheet that Wes put together for you.
We've been through this before here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of it, but we didn't know what the,
We didn't know what the bid was gonna be.
yeah, what the bids would be, and the impact of Bowen Collins and
Okay.
Associates on the budgets.
All right, this is the well rehab on, actually you have 3 bids here. Did they all bid for all 3? I assume they-
There's only 2 bids on the well rehab.
Okay, I was looking at the
That's
number
it.
1 item here on the chart.
You should have a
If you want,
spreadsheet like that, without the writing.
I can give a little history on, in backup memo, I gave a little bit of the history of how this project came to be. Because it originated last year, I believe it was February, well 33 is when we went out to bid for that, because it was starting to deteriorate. And as soon as we took well 33 offline and pulled 32 online, 32 promptly failed. And we retracted the bid for 33, and then went and worked on 32 and got that up and running, and that's what's currently in operation. During that same timeline, we started talking with Bowens and Collins to have the well number 2 looked at, and also the transmission line leading up to Riverside Road and to the water tower lane booster and tank. They was awarded that to work on that in behalf of the district, and during those conversations and with the master plan, started looking at all the district's needs for water resource wise, and that kind of evolved into having Bowens and Collins look at our water resource needs, and that was how this combined. The title of this project is still Well 2 Retrofit. But obviously it has 5 wells that's being worked on, or possibly being looked at to be worked on. The bids came back today at 2:30. We opened them. The apparent low bidder is Lane Christensen Company at $344,000 and $222. Everything was filled out properly, and bid bonds, insurance, things of that nature were supplied. Trying to think.
Okay, could you read?
Because the, I'm sorry.
Hold on, go ahead.
Because the bids came in favorable, and only 1% from each other, but because it came in favorable for the entire scope, less than what we had budgeted, our recommendation is to go with the bidder because the entire package we can get done. Our intention after looking at it with Bone Collins and Associates is, even though there's some disparity between the two of them on particular line items, you can't just pick and choose. The whole package, though, was better, and we intend to do everything in the scope, or at least that's our recommendation, because it's going to be so.
Within the budget, we've combined two budget items in there, since at the time we were looking at having these two separate items. So there's a well maintenance budgeted item, and then also the production well. And so combined, we had budgeted $460,000. And so even with the engineering costs put in there, we're still under budget by a bit. So that's, can you?
I just got a couple questions. On well number 2 in Bunkerville, the rehab of that, and you mentioned it, the replacement of the lines from the well to Riverside. If we do the rehab and don't replace the lines, are we going to be in trouble there?
Yeah, with doing the rehab, we are changing the pump and motor, and it will increase the pressure at the wellhead, and that line will not have the capability of handling that pressure, most likely. So it will need to be a more or less a project that will have to be seen through for both. I mean, if we do the well maintenance, then yes, the transmission line will have to be replaced to allow for that to function properly.
And is there any reason why we didn't add that to the bid?
The reasoning was that putting the transmission line in, it would be it'd be kind of similar to what happened with the horizontal directional drill. A pump guy would not be putting the transmission line in, and so decided to break those up. So the people that specialize in working on wells will be doing that job, and the transmission line will be done by someone that is specialized in putting infrastructure in and things of that nature. Chandler might say a little more. That we're still working on that bid.
Yes, essentially, that was part of the original package. We split that into two for the same reason Aaron just mentioned, just two bid packages. That's in at NDOT right now, just for final review on the road cut at Riverside.
My question is, if we do it double, if we do a different, it's done now, so, but wouldn't there have been some cost savings there of not having to go out to double bid? And, I mean, just have a subcontractor with Lane Christensen. I mean, we have subcontractors all the time, you know, that don't necessarily do wells or whatnot, but it's, you know, it's just a different line item that whoever decides they're going to be the general on gets a subcontractor for that area. I'm just, you know, wondering what kind of savings would we have had we added that to the bid. Any ideas?
Without bidding it. You know, originally we had wanted to bid it separately. Well, we received the direction to split them into two packages with the intent that the pipeline would be something that a local contractor could do. Typically, there is some savings, you know, if there's...
Hi, Rich. We lost you.
Theoretically, there's some savings by awarding one contract, but that's pretty small when you consider that the subcontractor is likely, whatever he bids, will likely be marked up 10% by the general.
Right.
And so, for a project that small, it's debatable. I mean, you may not, the market factors, and we felt like to include as many local contractors, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, as well as the fact that if we had two separate groups, rather than having someone else like Lane Christensen trying to manage everything, just say, let them do the well work. They've got a lot of work to do, and really the two pieces are independent. Right now, I think everything's running off well 29. And so it's not that well two needs to come right up, back on right away, or that the pipeline is gonna be a challenge that way. So I think the cost savings is debatable. It would depend on what markup you got from your general, and I think it's a small enough project that it could be within that margin that you say, having a local guy do it as the general versus Lane doing it as the general, and then marking up someone local, it's pretty tight.
What's our estimated time for getting that
The transmission line.
transmission line done?
I think right now the holdup is just waiting for.
Once we get final approval from NDOT, just how much, part of their requirements is defining how much asphalt replacement on either side of the trench on the riverside. Once we get all that final determination, the bid package is ready to go. So we have the 100% package, we turn it into NDOT for review comments. Once we have that back, it'll be out to bid. So I would say probably, if not by the next board meeting, likely the first one in February.
And this is just irrelevant, but is that running up the same place that the old line's running, or are you running up Second West?
It'll go up the same street, maybe not in the exact same location, but it's the same street it was.
Same alignment.
Mhm.
Have you got an estimate of what that's gonna be, and you keep saying it's small amount?
I think the original estimate we had was about 80,000. That's what.
For the line replacement?
For the line replacement, yeah.
Did we have an engineer's estimate on the rehab?
No.
No, where we had one for the well number 2, but where we added 4 additional
We
wells,
didn't have that.
we didn't pull together a complete one for the entire project.
With my, the budgeting that I did last year, without factoring engineering or anything of that nature, it was very close to what I figured for 2 and
We're back on?
Sorry about
33.
Okay.
And then we added 26 on there, and I had contingency in there of 100,000 in case
Can you hear
something
okay?
similar to 31 going down or something of that
that.
nature. Those 3 line items, that came out to be $370,000, which is very close to what the bid came in minus engineering costs. So it was in the
And the
neighborhood.
reason we did this, didn't we discuss at the time, it'd be, we could have a savings if we did them all at once other than spread it out over.
The mobilization costs are significantly reduced by that.
Well, we have a lot of experience with Lane Christensen, so.
Yeah, actually, both of those contractor or pump guys, I would have felt very good with either one of them, to tell you the truth. So.
Didn't you make the comment earlier, or maybe Mike made the comment that, as far as the line was concerned, it's usually not the well drillers aren't gonna be the ones that did that anyway. So it really doesn't affect, it probably wouldn't affect the cost at all then, would it?
Well,
But it's still got the same.
the point I think Kenyon was trying to make was you can reduce just the cost of bidding 2 separate packages, just the administration and
advertising and all
overhead,
that.
if you have a single contract out, but you also pay a markup cost on that subcontractor. So you enter a little bit of a gray area. It's a small margin to say, yeah, it may have saved some, it may not.
Okay, did you get that part, Rich?
He's not voting.
Yeah, I heard that part.
Oh, that's right, you're not voting on this anyway, so.
Yeah.
That was inappropriate for you to go away when we were discussing that. You're supposed to go in the back room, but. Okay.
Well,
Any
I
further?
got another question that just kind of popped up. Out of this 460,000 that we have budgeted there, Wes, I know that when we did our budget that we pulled some, that we were gonna use some money from an account that was for, that could only be used in Bunkerville. Is any of that money coming out of there for this project?
Yeah, in terms of the cash use, would be used from that cash account would be used to cover the well 2 portion of this, as well as potentially a portion of the just the transmission line. And a combination of those 2 will
Because there's, I mean, well 1's in Bunkerville, on the Bunkerville side. Well 9 is on the Bunkerville side, and 26 is on the other side?
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure we don't get ourselves in, some, I don't know how that whole thing works, but you know, for some reason it was put in an account that it could only be, you know, used on,
Yeah.
for whatever
What
reason.
we would do is we would take a
Doesn't
look
make any
at
sense to me.
any fund, what we would do is we would spend the money out of our general account, and then we would do a funds transfer, and we would do that after we had completed the accounting and do a ratio analysis and only transfer that portion that was related to the Bunkerville
Okay.
stuff and cover it that way, so we would be fine.
Okay.
And you did give us all your remaining
Yes.
money left in the budget, so it really is helpful. I'm glad you do that.
I'll make a motion, Mr. President, if we're ready for that.
That'd be fine. Thank
I'll
you.
make a motion that we award the contract to Lane Christensen for $344,222 for the Bunkerville Well Number 2 retrofit project.
Well, that includes these other wells too.
Yeah,
The
but
name
it's
of
all
it
one
is-
bid.
Okay, all right. I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, that's 4 in favor and 1 abstaining, so that motion carries.